AITA for refusing to sign a document my late dad's wife is pressuring me to. My father passed away 3 years ago from lung cancer which spread to his brain toward the end. It was an awful time for us and I miss him terribly. My mum died when I was 15 and when she died her life insurance, death in service benefit paid out and it paid off the rest of the mortgage on the house. Due to my dad being, at that time, an aggressive alcoholic, I moved out when I was 16. We still maintained a rocky relationship and the later years were much better and we were very close. I loved him so much despite the bad stuff. A couple of years later he met his GF. Eventually they got married around 2015. I never totally got on with her, nothing in common and hard to relate with, but my dad was happy and we had a polite relationship as I wanted my dad to have a companion. I've never considered her a stepmom. Anyway, after he died I found out that his will had been changed 2 weeks before he passed, whilst he had a large brain tumor, without my knowledge. I am one of the executors so was quite surprised I wasn't told, which meant the sale of my parents' home would go from being split 3 ways to her getting half and my brother and I the other half to split. We were not happy with how this went down but we have accepted the change to the will and moved on. She has now decided she wants to sell because she wants to move. She mentioned she wanted to get some work done on the house to increase the sale price and I emailed her saying not to spend much as it wasn't worth it and it was unnecessary. She invited me over a few weeks ago to see the work and to give me some documents. When I got home I looked at the document she wanted me to sign agreeing to deduct nearly £16,000 from the sale of the house to pay herself back for the work. Some of it was done ages ago and clearly for her living comfort and other paperwork only gave quotes for work not actual receipts or invoices. The terms of the will are that she could live there until her death but she is responsible for the upkeep and maintenance as well as bills. She has lived there for 14 years rent-free with my dad and 3 years without him. My friends, family and I think he's an absolute piss take to ask us for this money considering it is our family home which not only did both of our parents have to die for her to get but is our only inheritance from our parents. She is now pressuring me to agree to this and I am not happy. I am being bullied by her to sign. She wrote the document, not a solicitor, and no solicitor has been involved from her end about this. She has now told me she will withdraw the property from the market if I don't agree, which honestly, even though I am struggling financially and need to pay off debt, I don't care about because if she lived there until she died then the house will just go to me and my brother and her adult kids won't benefit from my parents. So AITA for protecting what's left of mine and my brother inheritance. Edit. Thank you all for your advice and help. It's been very reassuring for me. I'm speaking to legal assistance Friday. NTA. I'm not sure what she hopes to achieve by taking the property off the market if she wants to move. Is she also badgering your brother to sign money over to her? I would suggest getting a solicitor of your own to look over these documents. Some money spent on legal advice now may save you a lot more in the long run. Good luck. No, because I'm the executor alongside her, so she has totally cut my brother out of the equation. While my brother and I aren't close due to other reasons, I am responsible for making sure we're not screwed over anymore. Thank you. It's horrible and through it all I just want my dad back. NTA. Don't sign that. She wants to take advantage of you. Exactly. My husband is absolutely adamant that I don't let her bully me. I'm just shit with confrontation and she's blackmailing me now. Edit. The blackmail is more of the threat of saying if you don't sign it I won't sell, which tbh is ridiculous, but maybe blackmail isn't the right word. I got the email yesterday saying that and I was furious. NTA. She is being shady. I would contact the solicitor if your father changed his will 2 weeks before his death with a brain tumor. It could be contested. I tried in the beginning and was told it was very difficult to contest the will, and as I was grieving and in a bad place at the time I buried my head in the sand. He has made everything difficult since and even blocked my access to the house. It's been hell. NTA. Get a lawyer if you can afford and need to. Do not be intimidated by her. Do not sign! Exclamation mark. Not going to for sure. I just hate the whole situation and the fact we're being put in it. She had an agenda from the off. AITA for explaining periods to my brother. I, 15F, have two brothers, 17 meters and 12 meters. This happened a few days ago, but I really need a second opinion. I share a bathroom with my brothers, and the other day I accidentally left a box of tampons on the counter instead of putting them away. My younger brother asked me what they were, and I said that they were tampons. Cue him being very confused, and my older brother and I realizing that he knows nothing about any of this stuff. We decided to give him a basic rundown of the female reproductive system and he seemed okay with it. That night, he mentioned to our parents that we told him about periods and they got pretty upset. My mom said that he's way too young to be knowing about this and that it was inappropriate for us to be telling him. As it turns out, they're planning on opting him out of sex ed at his school in the spring because he's, in their opinion, too young. I can kind of see where they're coming from. He is their kid after all, and I definitely could have just said that the tampons were feminine products. However, this is something he would have to learn at some point, and that wasn't going to happen if they didn't let him go to sex ed. I'm not really sure. Did we seriously overstep a boundary here? AITA edit, for those people saying that this is obviously fake because I haven't replied to comments or something. No, I went to bed. I was sleeping. Calm down. To answer some questions, my older brother and I did mandatory sex ed in 5th grade, but my younger brother's was cancelled due to the state of the world. We also both did sex ed in 8th grade. I have no idea why they would opt out only him, but it's probably a youngest child thing. NTA My 5-year-old knows what a period is. Your parents are being ridiculous. Also, I pity his future spouse if your parents don't start educating him, because frankly boys who don't get told about periods early are often the boys that will be like EWW grosses when their partner in the future has period. If he's straight. NTA. And your parents definitely are if they think opting him out of sex ed is a good idea because he's too young. 12-year-olds can get other 12-year-olds pregnant, or pass on sexually transmitted diseases because they don't understand the risks. Your parents need to step up and educate him. I'm always amazed that people opt their kids put of basic biology lessons. It's just info on the reproductive system and health, not blow-by-blow sex instructions, no pun intended. NTA how is a 12-year-old learning about sex and periods harmful? What's harmful is trying to prevent a 12-year-old from learning about things that are completely normal and natural and giving the impression that these things are gross. Many people have started having periods at 12, so I fail to see how 12 is also too young to educate the people who won't get them. NTA. He isn't too young, and there is nothing inappropriate about menstruation. If your parents want to hide this from him, they shouldn't have him sharing a bathroom with a person who menstruates. I got my period at 12, no way he's too young. AITA for reporting my wife's cousin to his employer. My wife's cousin is a sheriff's deputy in a southern US state. He is in his mid-20s and I've known him for about a decade. My wife and I live in a northern state, so I don't see him very often, usually just on Christmas or Thanksgiving. I've never really had a problem with him, but for as long as I've known him he has struck me as entitled and naive. Becoming a cop has been his dream since before I knew him, and he's very proud of the fact that he achieved it. Since we live so far away from most of my wife's family, there is a group chat with a lot of family members that people use to keep in touch. Over the last year or so, my wife's cousin has a habit of posting videos and pictures of things related to his job that I disagree with. Some of these include body cam footage of arrests, body cam footage of people in vulnerable or traumatic situations, and plenty of videos of insensitive jokes from him and other police officers. Now, I'm no expert on police matters, but I'm pretty sure he shouldn't be sharing those things with people. Since it's not my family, I've kept my mouth shut to the group, but have told my wife privately that her cousin could probably get in trouble if he was found out for leaking these things to family members. She said that her cousin is just very proud of being a cop and this is his way of looking for recognition and pats on the back because he has always needed to be praised. Couple weekends ago, He sent body cam footage of him and another officer mocking a person they were arresting for DUI. The things they said and the way they treated that man made me sick to my stomach. It was like to them, this guy was less than human. They showed such a callous disregard for him as a person that for me, it was the last straw. I told my wife that since it was her family, I was going to give her a chance to say something to her cousin, otherwise I was going to contact his supervisor and let them know what he has been doing. She called her cousin to talk with him, but he literally laughed at her on the phone. He said these people are criminals, so why should he give a crap what they think about how they are treated. After the call, my wife came to me and said her cousin is an a-hole and that it's okay with her if I contacted his department. So I looked up his department info, created an anonymous email, and sent over the whole collection of pictures and videos that the cousin ever sent out. After a couple back and forth emails from them asking questions about how I obtained those items, they thanked me for the information and I didn't hear back from them. A couple days later, my wife's aunt, cousin's mother, blew up the group chat looking for whoever contacted the sheriff because her son was now on paid suspension and desk duty. I told them all it was me that did it. Now my wife's entire family hates me and thinks I'm a huge a-hole. But my wife and I feel we did the right thing. Your wife's cousin requires constant reassurance for what a great job he's doing, so he sends you videos and pics of people in vulnerable situations. I don't buy it. He sounds cruel and heartless. His attitude is a perfect example of what's wrong with policing, among many other things. NTA. I don't think he's necessarily cruel or heartless. I think it's mostly just youthful ignorance and him trying to fit into a culture that was probably already toxic when he arrived. It's very possible he just thought a lot of this behavior was normal because that's what he saw older vet cops doing. I'm not saying it's right, but that's a huge part of why police reform needs to happen. NTA. I'm not normally one that's fond of involving someone's employer, but these were actions taken while on the job, so I feel it was appropriate. Plus, I respect that you stood up and said it was me when they asked who told. My wife was already being accused by her aunt since she was one who called her cousin out on it. But I spoke up and said it was me before my wife took any more blame than she already had. I'd rather her family hate me than her, even though a lot of them have taken sides against us over this. NTA. These kinds of people are the reason people hate cops and it makes me sick to my stomach. Whenever people interact with these kinds of people they begin to think all law enforcement are like this. I'm not sure what made me more mad, his disgusting view of humans who make mistakes, or the fact that he didn't even lose his job, he just got moved to desk duty and gets a paid suspension. I don't work in law enforcement, but I could get fired for posting uncleared footage and evidence of disrespectful behavior while on the job. NTA. Definitely NTA. That man has no business being in a position of authority. You absolutely did the right thing. Besides, the cousin and family are going to get over it, because he's going to get everything he wants right back. We all know that cops don't ever get in any real trouble for a damn thing.